Three of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I would look to buy low and trade for this week. The first guy's Lucas Giolito of the Chicago White Sox. So some early season struggles here for Giolito in his first four starts of the season. On the season, 18 and two-thirds pitched, a 1-1 record, 17 hits, 12 earned runs, 3 homers, 7 walks, 26 strikeouts, a 5.79 ERA, and a 1.29 whip with only one quality start in the four starts for Giolito. So last season, Giolito, he finished the year with a 3.48 ERA. And I still think when it's all said and done, he could get the numbers back down to that and play well here for the Chicago White Sox team. And right now, what his value is totally low. And after getting bombed versus the Boston Red Sox in his last outing, I think you could get him super cheap compared to what you could have got him early in the season, especially when he was drafted in the fourth or fifth round of most fantasy drafts. So the few starts he started this year, April 1st versus the Angels, 5 and a third in that game, a no decision, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, a 3.38 ERA, and an 0.75 whip. Then April 6th at Seattle, another pretty decent start, 5 and a third, got the win in that one, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, 10 strikeouts, a 5.06 ERA, and an 0.94 whip. And his best start of the season was versus the Indians on April 13th. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, no ERA, an 0.71 whip, and a quality start in the game versus Boston a few nights ago. It was just a train wreck. He only finished an inning in that game. Got the loss, obviously. 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 walks, came out to a 63 ERA and a 10 whip. So right now the numbers ain't all that great. And now while his value's low after he got hit hard and only lasted an inning versus Boston, I would go out there and try to trade for him. And his next start's April 25th versus the Texas Rangers. The next pitch is Zach Wheeler of the Philadelphia Phillies. So Zach Wheeler, he was a good pitcher last season in his first year with the Phillies after signing a 5-year, $118 million deal with Philly. But so far in the season here, 23 and two-thirds, a 1-2 record, 23 hits, 10 earned runs, 4 home runs, 8 walks, 26 strikeouts, a 3.80 ERA, and a 1.31 whip, and 2 quality starts. So it's been a mixed bag of results so far this season here for Wheeler. 2 good starts and 2 mediocre to poor starts for him. And right now, I still think he's going to have a good season here in Philly. This guy, the last few seasons, he's gotten into gear. He don't walk as many batters as he did previously, and he's throwing the baseball even harder for this Philly team. April 3rd versus Atlanta, 7 innings, got the win in that one. Only 1 hit, 10 strikeouts, and 0.14 whip in a quality start. April 9th at Atlanta, only 4 and two-thirds, got the loss in that one. 7 hits, 3 earned runs, gave up a homer, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 5.79 ERA, and a 2.36 whip. Then April 14th versus former team, the New York Mets. It wasn't a great game again for him. 6 and a third, got the loss in that one. 10 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 4.26 ERA, 1.74 whip in a quality start. And a few nights ago, April 20th versus the Giants, 5 and two-thirds, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 homers, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 6.35 ERA, and a 1.41 whip. So right now the numbers ain't all that great for Wheeler in his first 4 starts of the season here for the Phillies. But I think he's going to get things going. His strikeout rate is still good. He's pitching pretty deep into the game still, even though he's given up a lot of hits this season so far. In only 23 innings of work, giving up a hit an inning, it seems like, for Wheeler. So Wheeler, I think he'll calm down, he'll get things going, and he'll be a good pitcher for Philly. And right now, while his value's low, I think you could get him on the cheap. The next pitcher is Luis Castillo of the Cincinnati Reds. So last season, Castillo, him and Trevor Bauer were 2 aces for this Red staff. And there was rumors in the offseason that Castillo was on the trade block, but they obviously wanted a lot for him. And Gleyber Torres came up in talks with the Yankees here for Castillo. And Castillo on the season so far, 19 and a third inning, 1-1 record, 26 hits given up, 13 earned runs, 3 home runs, 6 walks, 16 strikeouts, a 6.05 ERA, a 1.66 whip, and only 1 quality start on the season. So he's only past 6 innings pitched once this year is Castillo. in his first 4 starts. April 1st, he got bombed by St. Louis, 3 1/3. Got a loss in that one. Eight hits, 8 earned runs, a 21.60 ERA, and a 3 whip. April 7th versus the Pirates, 7 innings, got the win, 4 hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts, a 0 ERA, an 0.71 whip, and the quality start. April 13th at San Francisco, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 7 strikeouts in that one, a 7.20 ERA, a 1.40 whip. And his last start versus Arizona wasn't a total train wreck, but he only failed to go 4 innings in that one, 7 hits, got an earned run given up, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 2.25 ERA, and a 2.5 whip. So far, he just can't stretch out. He can't go deep into ball games, is Castillo. So Castillo's struggling, and right now, while his ranking's low, I think he'll get back into the thick of things. He's another pitcher that's got a good track record over the last few seasons, and it's just early season struggles. Sometimes the pitchers are behind with the hitters when you come early into the season, but now as things warm up and he'll get more starts under his belt and stretched out, I think Castillo will be fine. And his next start's April 25th at the St. Louis Cardinals. The next pitcher is Dylan Bundy of the Los Angeles Angels. I think you could get on a cheap this week. Bundy last season, one of the best pitchers in fantasy baseball, but so far this season, he's gone back to his old ways, kind of like he was in Baltimore. 24 innings pitched, 22 hits, 12 earned runs, 4 homers given up, 7 walks, 28 strikeouts, a 4.50 ERA, a 1.21 whip, and 3 quality starts. So he's still going deep into ball games, is Bundy, but the winning results isn't there. The total dominance isn't there as well. And he's been mediocre so far, in my opinion, where he was a pitcher going about 7th, 8th round in most fantasy drafts coming into the season. But right now, he's been struggling in the early going, and not the same pitcher he was April 1st versus Chicago. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, a homer, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 4.5 ERA, and a 1.17 whip and a quality start. April 6th versus Houston, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, 3 ERA, a 1 whip and a quality start. April 13th at Kansas City, 7 innings, got the loss in that one. 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, a 2.57 ERA, a 1 whip and a quality start. And then April 19th versus Texas, 5 innings, got the loss in that one. 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 9 ERA, and a 1.80 whip. So far the numbers have been mediocre to poor here. Even on the season, a 4.5 ERA isn't totally bad here for Bundy, but I expect more out of him in the next couple weeks. And his next start's at Houston, which obviously is a decent hitting ball club so far this season. But right now, Dylan Bundy, he's just got to get things going, and I would buy him low because I think he's going to turn it around. And last season's dominance, I don't think is a fluke. And the 5th and final pitcher I will look to buy low this week and trade for is Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs. I know Kyle Hendricks the other night versus the Atlanta Braves. It was a home run derby where I believe he gave up 4 home runs in that ball game versus Atlanta. And so far in the season, he's been awful. 13 innings, 0-2 record, 15 hits, 10 earned runs, 5 homers given up, 7 walks, 12 strikeouts, a 6.92 ERA, and a 1.70 whip on the season. So obviously those numbers are horrible. And in the first 3 starts, he's only had 1 good start so far as Hendricks. April 1st versus Pittsburgh, innings, got the loss in that one. 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a homer, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 9 ERA, and a 2.33 whip. April 7th, 6 innings, 4 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 0 ERA, and an 0.83 whip and a quality start. And then his last start, like I mentioned, versus the Braves, where his value totally dropped off, and he's been dropped in 4% of leagues so far this week. 4 innings, got the loss, obviously. 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 4 homers, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. It came out to a 15.75 ERA and a 2.5 whip. So right now, the Cubs, they've been playing about 500 baseball so far in the early going. And Hendricks, he's too good of a pitcher to have bad numbers and get hit around so hard like he has this season. So I think Hendricks will turn it around. And this is the perfect time, I believe, to buy him low. And his next starts tomorrow versus the Milwaukee Brewers. So right now, if there's a Hendricks owner who's pissed off after what happened versus the Atlanta Braves and looking to trade him for anything, this is the time to get him while his value's at an all-time low, and that's a few pitchers I would look to buy low and trade for here in week 3 of the fantasy baseball season.